Are live. Veesh, how's it going, dude?
Hey, you good? How are you, man?
I am
Chilling?
doing. I'm doing good. Doing good. Busy, but I'm good. You have a good
Same,
holiday?
same. Yeah, it was really nice. Just family and nothing too crazy. Like relaxful, fun, good food, presents, all that stuff. So pretty chill.
Good. Good.
Yep.
That's. I'm glad to hear that. And since we're at the beginning of the podcast, I just wanted to shout out this week's sponsor of the podcast. It's my grandma for getting me this dope BMX life shirt for Christmas.
Dang.
Because we don't have
You
real
you really want?
sponsors. I just
That's
wanted to
awesome.
shout that out real quick here at the beginning of this one, chatting with you, and make sure you had a good holiday and stuff.
Definitely. I hope you did too, man.
Yeah, for sure. It was good. And to get into kind of our BMX related stuff, last I think it was Tuesday, the Unclicked podcast with you came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a
Mm-hmm.
good one. You guys talked a lot about some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, and I was kind of curious if you had any thoughts or anything that you kind of wanted to follow up on from that after the fact.
No, there's not really anything per se to follow up on from the podcast. Just on my own end of like doing carrying on the ideas and executing the videos and just kind of the steps I need to take to make all that stuff happen. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like happy to come on here and talk more about that kind of stuff because I have some of it going on, but it's not. It's pretty hard to do. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, I was ambitious at the speed of it, and then I'm like kind of slowing it down to realize like the this kind of like meet the middle of the speed and the quality. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could have I could have had something else out already, but I'm liking the shape of how it's turning out now that it's a little bit slower and it's like not really going to affect it too much that it's a few days later than I expected it to be out kind of thing. So I don't know. It's been like uh just hard with the amount of stuff I'm editing at the moment and
Yeah.
keeping that going. So, but I don't know. I feel like January is really like the time I thought to kind of like fully go at the yawn stuff. So anything happening right now is kind of just like extra to kind of get me in the groove, hopefully. So
Okay. Well, that's cool then. You're kind of just like easing into the whole
that's
deal of it.
that's what. Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
So another disclaimer here: I am not just piggybacking Unclick guests because I had Moeller on 2 days after the Unclick came out, and then you're
mhm.
on a week after the Unclick came out. You hit me up for this one, and I had no idea that Unclick came out for Moeller whenever I scheduled that one, and you kind of hit me up because you're in the beginning stages of this thing called Yawn Media, and
Mhm.
just want to kind of get the word out there. So I guess, what even is it at its base level? What is Yawn Media?
At its base level, well, um, I guess at this moment I would have used anything to kind of start this venture of doing like BMX videos slash like production style videos and things that kind of lean more into like camera use and editing techniques and things like that. But Yawn existed from way back in the day that like I kind of was doing simultaneously as like working for Colt and other stuff, and I like just like went to kind of like put my efforts into one place. And there's a lot of stuff I learned from like I don't know just getting to be better at filming and editing and stuff. So um, it was probably like the right thing to do at the time, as far as like just putting the on stuff to the side or really a lot of like side projects. And I don't know, something now has just made me want to like really kind of pursue that. That's more in my head. It's more upfront to me to
Mm.
like kind of get some of these ideas out. And it just seemed like the right time to kind of like uh, uh, take a step and kind of see what goes on. And it's going to take a few years, I think, to really like achieve what I'm hoping to do. but you know, I have to just kind of keep chipping away at it and learning kind of how to be more of like a creator kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not trying to be super YouTubey, even though I have to like kind of like play both sides of it in a way. Like I have to put myself out there like personally and talk to the camera and do those kinds of things, but I also have to like capture and tell stories and put those kinds of things out. And so that's kind of like what I'm trying to do with the YouTube channel / like site and stuff like that. The site's really just like, I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do with the website stuff yet. I'm really kind of focusing on his YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
you know, I'll sell t-shirts and other things and stuff like that as time goes on. But at the moment, it's like just make videos and like try and like get a different perspective, at least the perspective I kind of see that I like to tell. And it's definitely got writing, but it's also got a bit of like, just like, I don't know, the community aspects and other things like that going on. I'd like to like have that stuff kind of carry out, stuff that's like humor, kind of like that sandwich video that I put out. Like it like got something to do, only a skate video will have something to do with BMX riding, but then there's something funny and you can just like watch it and laugh at it, and I can make something else. It's a little bit more serious the next week or something, like, so it'll kind of like bounce around. And I don't know, I want to do music stuff and other things. Like essentially, you know, if I like do some freelance work and then I don't have, like there's weeks where I don't have any freelance work,
Yeah.
I would just spend that time working on YouTube videos that might just be that I don't know what I'm doing today, and we just like shoot a product, and like maybe it's behind the scenes, or you know, some of the stuff is like about getting telling a story and stuff for BMX riders, and other parts of it are about the stuff I like to do being done, I guess. I don't know, but like it's kind of like both of the sides that I'm into, of like the production side / like writing and storytelling and things I think are kind of intriguing with the whole picture of BMX.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. And I think it's really cool too to have this talk now, because we had our previous one and you talked throughout it like little bits and pieces here of like, I kind of want to get into doing YouTube stuff. Don't really know exactly what yet, but I want to. And then we talked afterwards even more about it, and it was cool to see like the cruising videos from Cult come out after we talked, and it was like, oh, this is like a cool little snippet into Cult side of things. But then now the Yawn thing is happening, and it's cool, I think, to see like the next level of progression for you and really diving in on it.
Yeah, that's what I hope, and that's why like some of the stuff I'm working on right now, I feel like oh, this isn't quite it, and it's like, yeah, because I'm at a beginning stages in a way of this type of video, and
Right.
so I'm gonna like realize as I'm filming what works and what doesn't work, as I do like narration stuff, what it works and doesn't work, what actually is interesting story versus what I think is actually interesting. Like I like to like make a video and I think it's great, and there's points in it that other people are not getting what I'm trying to like put out there, and so it's like good to get some feedback and then to know, okay, that nobody's following along, all right, gotta cut this part or like rework this or something. So like that's what I'm gonna be like learning, I guess. So yeah, this probably this first stuff is gonna be, I don't know, it's, again, man, it's like I was hoping that by the time we came on here I'd have more stuff out. I don't even have another video out yet, but tomorrow I should have a video out. I'm like more than halfway done with it, and I'm pretty much just gonna stop when we're done with this call, go right back to working on the video. That's pretty much all I did today, is just work on this video.
Yeah.
And the sooner I get it out, the sooner then I work on other things. Like there's a Cult video I'm working on that's gonna come out in the beginning of January, literally like next week, and it's pretty much finished. But I need to like take these next couple days and finish that up. Right. And so that's why I'm like bouncing between those two things plus some other side jobs I have, and I'm just like, okay, get this done, move it on, get this other one done, but you know, I don't want to give anything like a secondary like energy, like
Right, back burner type deal.
I'd like to just like be like, this is it. I'm as focused in on it as I can be, and making sure it's not, because it eats me up if I'm just like, put it out. I don't want to do that. So that's the thing I have to learn about the YouTube and the frequency stuff. And hopefully I can find this balance. I'm not a media, like a BMX media thing where I'm supposed to be keeping everybody up to date on what's going on with BMX, and kind of like, you know, like you're very reactionary to what's happening, and that's awesome, because that's kind of like the lane that you're in, or like the things that you want to do. I love to promote that kind of stuff, but with the videos I'm making, they're gonna come when they come, and when I, you know, I kind of like figure out the pace and how to work on them. But yeah, it's still kind of up in the air. That's why this like call with you is like, or like doing this, it's just like it's great, but I don't have too much. I have hopes and dreams. I don't have too much like out there, you know. So it's like, I could talk about it a bunch, which I'm happy to, because like I believe I'm gonna execute on my ideas. I mean, you saw a little bit of something I'm working on, so like, I don't know. It's like stuff in that vein is like hard to do, and it might be in over my head, but I don't think so. I think it'll be fine. So
yeah, and it would make sense if you wanted me to play the video that you sent me now, since you mentioned it and that it's going to be going up soon, if you want.
Yeah, and I have to put it out tomorrow. So
you're holding yourself to it now.
It's happening. It's happening on this. It's going to be out there. So I don't know what time. Tomorrow is a long day. No, but I'm trying tomorrow. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I will share the screen with you so you can see where it's at while it's playing, and
okay.
And the people will be able to hear it and see it, so it'll be cool here. So I'm gonna go ahead and show. What's that?
And just let it run. Do you want me to say anything about it, or just let it run? I guess we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, we can talk about it afterwards. The title on here, Yawn Subculture More Cut Preview, and let's go.
So we're gonna record, and we're gonna get this thing, to bring in like this. I like that. This is gonna be like the first episode video. I don't know. That's not what we're doing here. I gotta like be myself. All right, this is the first episode. This is the called the pilot episode of the series called Subculture.
I'm wearing the same hat. I'm in the same room.
When I was in Hawaii, I got to meet up with the locals. Got to go eat some of the local cuisine. None of this was very like planned out. It was just kind of spontaneous. So there's a few things that didn't quite go as I expected. Regardless, we're just gonna run it, and you're gonna meet some of the people in Hawaii and kind of see what goes on over there.
You run into the homies everywhere you go, you know? Even if it's like electric bike, wheelie boys, or if it's another rider, you know, you just know everybody on the street. Or even just your ex-girlfriend, dude. Like, shit, you might run into her. That's it, dude. Yeah. I think we're trying to figure out which side goes where. Where's the ladder? I don't know where the ladder is. Everybody ends work after the sun goes down, and we all want to ride, so let's put some lights. Well, one of the dads was kind of like, I guess, encouraged to have his sons ride a little more, and we wanted to ride too, so it kind of just was like, oh, what if we just all chip in, buy a generator, buy some lights, and yeah, it happened. Sir, it looks good.
These are super cool. You didn't. You're still would definitely talk about Jordan. I don't know if you know about him. He's in a pretty bad car accident recently.
Oh, okay. Remember that.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about him. He's definitely doing better. I think he was even on his bike the other day, but it was pretty bad. And so, much love to Jordan. He's super cool and like super good at riding and a real good dude, and yeah.
Fast recovery and healing vibes to Jordan for sure.
He had a cult video come out recently too, and if you haven't seen it, you should check it out because it's like, I kind of thought he was like more in transition based, and then he had some gnarly street stuff, and I was like, wait, what? This dude is just ATV, like all around gnarly. So
That's awesome.
yeah, he's super. So hang in there, buddy.
Yes.
Well, that's just the preview. There's another section of the video that I'm still working on that me and Taryn, the dude in the car, we go eat some food.
That's really awesome.
Hawaiian food, so kind of into travel channel-y kind of thing, but that's where most of what I was filming didn't quite work out. I didn't film the stuff I just didn't film it. I came back with not much to edit. I was like, well, this kind of doesn't work.
Well, you
so
didn't probably
make
go
it really
into
short.
I was gonna say you probably didn't like go into it with the same knowledge that you are looking at it with now, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's all part of that learning stuff. So I guess to set the stage, which I kind of did in the beginning of the video, is, you know, like I'm trying to do something that's like BMX related, but kind of has like documentary, travel show, kind of like storytelling. That one, you know, was with a scene in Hawaii, and then like the part we haven't seen yet when I go get food later, it's like it's good enough. It'll do, but like I'm hoping that like as I do more things that there's like an element of like food or something unique to places I go and things like that. And then the other thing is it could also be just like an outside perspective kind of thing, but from a bike rider. So Trevi Siglocks built that. Have you seen that bike side place, like DIY out here in Long Beach? Well, you'll if you aren't familiar with it right now, which you probably have seen it on Instagram.
Probably, but didn't know it.
It's just a ditch with a couple quarter pipes. Yeah, you might not know the name, but you've definitely seen it around. Okay. They built like at the end of the ditch, there's like a, you know, the pipe at the end. They built like a pocket over it, and I was there while they worked on it the first time, and then I came back a couple more times, and then when they finished it, they had like a barbecue. So there's like a whole documentary piece on that, and like a little bit about DIY, and like so it's another aspect, and this one, you know, doesn't have anything to do with traveling or anything like that, but it's the subculture of just like kind of working amongst, you know, regular society, doing something kind of like, you know, in a ditch with but there's a whole community of people involved, like, so I don't know, I think those kinds of things are super interesting, and that'll probably be the next episode of that. So that's kind of me like laying that foundation of like, all right, well, if I got that coming, then I'll get this next video going, and then there's a couple other ideas for videos that can kind of fill in those, because the subculture videos are kind of hard to make. Like I made all the music for that, and I like takes me a long time, and I had to do that voiceover thing to like kind of make it make sense, I think, to me. Like in the future, I would love to just be where I'm at, you know, like doing the voiceover where I'm at, not in here, like, you know, so make it make more sense. So that's why like I have to just like go like, all right, this one's good, we'll move it on, and I'll get the next one better. So
yeah, dude. So first of all, you know, get kind of Anthony Bourdain vibes off of the concept for that one, where, you know, you're going to Hawaii, you're meeting the people, seeing their culture, and then also seeing the food that's local to them with one of them, and it's just a really cool concept. And there's a guy I watch in the fishing world who does a similar thing, where he'll go to some random body of water in another state, and he'll go and he'll check out the food, and and it's just very well done. And he puts the voiceover to it, and it's a full out production, because he's to the point where he's like paying somebody to film him and edit it all together, and they put together like a 2-minute intro to it that's got him doing the narration and showing the food and all of the best footage. It's a really cool concept of where those things could go. And while I was watching that, I was just getting those vibes. It's like, man, this is the kind of thing anyone could watch and get stoked on it, even if they didn't ride BMX, because they're getting a look and a peek into this little subculture that they had probably no idea that existed.
There we go. I'm glad that like that energy was going, because that's what I'm trying to do, and that's like, you know, again, as I get better at it, I'm hoping I have, you know, stuff that might resemble more of this dude's fishing show, you know, like those kind of like quality shots and like things that are just kind of interesting to anybody, and a BMX rider could be like, all right, cool, that was a cool story, and someone who doesn't ride could also like appreciate it and be entertained by it.
Right. And when I was watching this, all I could think was like, dude, I really hope that when he was doing this, he just got 1 or 2 minute quick segments with the people there of like, hey, who are you? What's your name? Did you grow up here? What was it like to grow up riding here? Where do you guys ride at? What do you wish you had here? Like some of the struggles of whatever, and including that and weaving it throughout while you're seeing that person riding. The dude, the Hawaiian Trey Jones that we had in there, that's all I could think of whenever I saw him. I was like, I want to know more about this guy.
Well, you're right. The future ideas are more like, I mean, I could come out to where you are and do a video with you at some point, and it would be more in depth and figured out. But that was in between. That was on the Fast and Loose Hawaii trip, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go shoot this thing," and I'm like, and I had more of that dialogue in the intro, and I took it out because it was getting to be too long before any riding came, and I was like, I'm gonna lose people, so I took that part out. Yeah, essentially it was like, hey, we're gonna hit this session, and we bring the lights and this stuff, and I knew about it before I went to this session, but when I saw it go down, I was like, oh, this is pretty unique. I need to like catch this if I can. And like the night before we were leaving, we were done for the day, and everyone's packing their bikes up. I was like, yo, Corey, could you take me to the skate park? And he was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, let's go. And we filmed that session.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically,
it was super spontaneous, and then the food thing happened right after it. So I just like made it happen. And then like when I thought about starting Yawn up, I was like, what can I do? And I was like, I just have this footage. So that's why it's like, I was like, this needs to be the first one, because everyone after this is going to be done differently. And I don't want it to go like proper way, a weird way, a proper way. And when I say weird, I'm not talking about anything to do with the people in the Hawaii, in the riding and stuff in Hawaii. I'm just talking about like my vision for the video and how it would go together. It's lacking pieces, like you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be cool. Some other things. I'm with you on that. I just didn't do it. You know?
Right.
Like,
well, you were.
I was just like, sometimes it's funny. I get uncomfortable with people like that I don't know that well, and so I'm like, hey guys, like, they're probably like, what do you mean? Like, come on. But I don't know. Yeah. Even I have to learn to get better and not being like shy around people, kind of. So.
Well, it's just through the journey of doing it, your standards of what you see as quality for yourself is just going to keep leveling up, and that's what you're talking about. You don't want to do, you know, a really, really awesome one that you put all of the forethought from the first one that you didn't even know you were really gonna be putting together this way, and then put this one that you filmed previously out, and it ended up being like, oh, like, what's going on with this? No, you do the best you can on the first one, then you go into the second one and just take it 10 steps further.
Yeah, the next one's gonna be really sick. Like, and I mean, I have like ideas for doing the video itself, and then I have ideas for just like kind of to do things that are engaging, like I don't really see why I couldn't edit that video live, pretty much. Like it's not an edit, so I'm not really giving away anybody's tricks or secrets. So like this next video I'm doing, I probably could just, people could just see what I'm doing and how I'm putting it together, because
Oh yeah.
I don't think it would really give away much. It would actually probably be more into like exciting for if you care to tune in. Obviously not that many people would, but like I don't see why I couldn't make the videos live. Like there's nothing being said, no giving away any tricks. It's just like kind of the order, and like then you get to see what I decide to actually use and what kind of ends up going away and like the final product. So I don't know. It seems like the way that you can do a live thing like this and then just it's out there. It's like if I'm actually gonna have to edit it, then I kind of have like a video come out while I'm working on a video.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out ways to like make things work in my favor and don't like burn myself out. So
yeah, man, and then the community aspect of that, like
yeah,
the fact that you're gonna be editing it with people watching, like, oh dude, I'm stoked on this thing that he's editing right now. Oh, and then you're gonna have people potentially give like thoughts, and you're like, oh, that's a really good idea, I'm gonna do that, and then it makes it even better.
yeah, you're right. But no, I hope that like I don't know how soon I'll get like community oriented, but like I'm hoping like, you know, by the end of February or something, I have kind of figured out a rhythm and like established like what I'm doing. But you know, at the same time, I'm putting a lot of effort into Yawn to create like just I guess again what I'm kind of seeing that I'd like to see more of in BMX. And at the same time, I have to do other things to
Right.
to also make money until like I don't know, things kind of make sense in that world. So hopefully if I do get to do video jobs, or I have a couple music things lined up, and I'm gonna have to make sure that I film the process of making those things, because it's hard sometimes to make music and then remember to set up a camera or even care about what's going on. But I think as long as I give even 20% on that and just at least let a camera run, I'll have something to edit down that shows the process of a song being built. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. It's like, how am I going to work in outside work to like kind of live into the Yawn world too? Some things I probably can't be able to show until they're already out, but I'll just give my 2 cents on them later. And you know, like we went to film the Baja 1000 Sauce. You know Sauce, right?
Yeah, I saw him reaching out on Instagram for people.
Yes. So that was amazing. And that is like something that I wanted to, you know, make something for myself from that trip. But it was so intense that I realized the best thing I could do is just focus on getting what he needs.
Yeah.
And then I'll just make my perspective and tell a story. Because that's like what's kind of cool about YouTube too, is like, all right, even though it's just a talking video, I could just do a talking video. To me, making a video is going out and filming something. You know, like I have to realize, like I watch stuff you make and you sit and give information. Like you give your opinion, you do it the way you do it, and you know. So I'm like, oh, that is something. Like I'm not taking that away from you or anybody else that does that. It's not what I'm saying. It's just for me. I've always made videos outside, like we're filming riding or something like that. And but then as soon as I go home, I find a music critic and I listen to him, and they never leave the house. I'm like, yes, I'm like, okay, I can do that stuff. I need to like be comfortable with doing that. So.
Yeah, it's just expanding your idea and what making a video is in your mind, really, and that's just gonna happen through the experience of doing it. I mean, somebody gave me an idea the other day I never even would have thought of, because I've been riding 2 different bikes all year, to ride at the skate park and street and then ride at the trails. And someone was like, hey, you've been doing this for a while now, it'd be interesting to just like hear your thoughts on riding 2 different bikes and how you think it went. Right. And
how you do that.
And, well, because they're exactly the same except for missing pegs and one's a straight cable instead of a gyro. But that's part of the video, and so that's kind of along the lines of what you're talking about. Is it becomes its own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just got to get better at like doing all that stuff, being able to like work quickly and like realize like things are interesting. I came up with an idea just today that is like something that would be easy to do. I'm not actually going to talk about it.
Yeah, I love that
because something I could do. It's not even a big deal. It's super small, but it still was something that I'm like, oh, I could use this to fill in, like, you know, if I need to make a video quicker or like something. So
yeah, man,
you know,
you will learn that as you're doing these things, that there's other little bits and pieces here and there. I mean, the news video for me came from, oh, I want to upload every single day, but uploading a riding video, like, I'm not going to be able to film enough riding videos, and they're going to be boring if I do post the same thing every single day. What can I do that's a little bit, you know, easier to get each week consistently? Well, there you go. On Friday we do the news. On Tuesdays we do tip videos, and those are things that I can not have to ride, not have to leave the house necessarily to do, and you'll figure out as you go through the journey of it what those things are for you.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. That's why I'm like, I don't have too much information. I'm at the beginning. A couple videos in, I have to like really, I don't know, it's going to be like 10 15 videos before I even understand like what's going on, and then but by then I think I'll like have a pace, you know. So I'm trying to upload my third video, but at the same time I have a plan. I see the next video after that, and so like I said, tomorrow I'll put this video up and I'll be on to the next video. And I still have, like I said, other things I'm working on. I'm really excited about the whole video coming out. It's like a mix tape kind of thing, but it's super fun, and like there's a lot of good music in it and a lot of good writing, and so I don't know, I'm like pretty happy with how it's coming together, and so we have something fresh for beginning of the year, and I don't know. So
it's good, man.
That and that Yawn stuff and some stuff I'm doing for Vans. It's like kind of steady busy. So
right, you know. And it's an important thing I think for us to cover here is like, just because you're focusing some more attention on this doesn't mean that you're totally going away from the cult side of things. I feel like a little bit in the Unclicked, it kind of got to a point where it sort of felt like there was almost a message of like, oh, he's, because we say he's like stepping down, it just gives an impression of like, oh, he's not going to, and then you guys immediately had to be like, but he's still gonna make videos. It's like, no, calm down, well, let's take it back.
The point, but like to me, like, to be honest, like I feel like if I don't come out and talk about my decisions and and my involvement being less, like with Colt, I don't know, I think it'd be hard to get like that information out there or that message across. Like for me, one of the reasons that I have to step down is just because I need some things off my plate and time to focus on other things. And so if like if I don't know, if people were expecting me to kind of carry those same roles and people were talking to me, I have to tell each individual person, like there's just like a lot of, I don't know, it just seemed easier to like explain it that way. Then the next part was that I have to back up the fact that like I'm still around, because I don't know, people when they leave, it's very gone, you know? So it's like, there's definitely going to be some differences as far as videos going on and whatever, but like, I don't know, the last time I've talked to Robbie, it sounded like, especially when it comes to editing, I'm still around. That'll be like the thing I can do. Going out and filming will be a lot less. Carrying that, the responsibility of like I don't know, just like overall visual stuff going on video wise. It's more as they need me. They don't have like I don't know. It's just easier to like let me go do a bunch of things without like having to be pulled back and stop doing other things. And it sounds like negative in a way. It's just kind of how it is. It's not even supposed to be like it's just one of these things. And people reach out to me on social media and they were like, hey, I understand now, like when you go for passion project versus like the things that you have to do for the brands you work for, or whoever it is that you work for, it's hard to do both. And so I just got to a point where I put the passion project first because of the it was just kind of eating at me, you know. Like if it's like I'm out filming thinking I wish I was doing something else. There's something up to that. So that's why it's so hard for anyone to really understand that. Like when I like decided that I was gonna, again, I liked the saying stepping down because I was, I don't know, doing all the videos and like had a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, and I now have less with that, but like that doesn't mean I can't help out, and it doesn't mean that I'm like leaving the brand as like in some kind of like negative way. It's just like this thing that's eating at me to you know, make like a video that we just saw and some of these other things and skit videos, and then, you know, like I shoot interviews with people, and just like, I don't know, one of the things I'm like excited to do this year is cover Swamp Fest as like a full Swamp Fest recap video where
this is exciting.
Where like, yes, I'm trying to like see if I can't get something really like unique out of Swamp Fest, because it's all right there. It's so unique, it's so interesting, it's so BMX. But you know, a lot of times before, if I film a cult video, I definitely threw other people in the video, but it was, you know, focused around cult stuff, and I think that's fine and that's great, but I didn't have it in me to then make a Yawn video or a other video on top of that. And this year I'm gonna do the full like Swamp Fest recap, and I'm like super excited to like tell the story I see at Swamp Fest that I don't normally get to do. And again, nobody kept me from doing it. It's just how burnt can I be? Like, how I can't film really 2 videos at one time. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I'm trying these things out now, like more intent, like with more intent of like, you know, working on storytelling. It's like very inclusive, like the whole festival kind of thing. So, I mean, that's just, you know, one aspect of it. You know, but I don't know. I have like other ideas and stuff again, but I could talk ideas all day. I need to just get the videos out.
Yeah, and so to finish what I was trying to be at, he might be stepping down, not quitting. Quitting and stepping down are 2 totally different things. And one of my notes, something you just hit on, is that like, yeah, you could do some of the Yawn type stuff and it be cult videos on the cult channel, but that limits you to only cult people. And what you're saying, like, yeah, you threw some other people into like the Swamp Fest cult video, but you can't go to Swamp Fest and make the cult video that is what you are trying to go there and make this year. That is the Veesh like vision of what Swamp Fest is, and capturing it that way. And so freeing up a little bit of resources to be able to do that, I think, is going to make some videos that people are really, really going to enjoy, while you're also being able to edit some of the cult stuff that people will enjoy as well. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll all play out really good. So I'm it's just like this new endeavor of like finding the balance. But again, I just think that like what I needed to do was just make it easier for that like line to exist, so that it's much clearer. You know, what I think is going to go on, like, again, I don't really know, because at the moment there's not really any trips planned. There's not really anything going down where I could see what's happening. But like once, you know, talk of a trip comes up, I think it kind of comes down to like, are you available? Because for me, the trip is like a week of the trip, a week of editing. All right, clean cut. Like, I've done that, and now I book in my next weeks. But when you're just kind of like on retainer, and they need something now and they need something next week, or like, what can we figure out here? And we got to go film. It's just like, it is a lot of time. Again, it's not negative. It is what the job is. And I just was like, you know what? I think I'd kind of want to do it different this way. So
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, it's like age. I'm telling you, age is like played into it big time. Like, I don't know. Like, when I turned 30, it was like, oh man, that's kind of wild. 30, and it was like a weird couple years, and then I turned 37, and I'm like, wait, hold on, what happened to 30? Like, now I'm like, oh, I'm approaching 40. All right, you know, that when you're 40, you're 40, you know. So I got I don't know. It just seemed like the time, like,
Yeah.
and that's, I think, why years prior I had the same ambitions and said, you know what, let's just keep doing the cool thing. Like, let's just keep doing this. And yeah, I don't know. I just got to this crossroads. So
Yeah, well, I don't think it sounds negative at all with the way you're talking about it and the approach you have towards it. So don't worry about that. I don't think you come across as negative in any way of this, and I think anyone who hears you talking about this will respect what you're going for in life, because whether we realize it or not, or think about it or not, everybody who's going out there and going to their day job every day has their like dream thing that they're just sometimes wish that they could go and do. And unfortunately, some people just never end up getting to try and pursue that dream thing. So right now, man, it sounds like this is that thing that you really want, and you're just putting everything towards it and gonna make it happen.
Well, I was lucky to even do the filming, editing thing for a living already. So I'm like trying to take it in a different direction, different step. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like worked hard early on to like get some sort of like, I don't know, longevity out of being able to film and edit. Because yeah, it did feel like it was going to end all the time. So, and then where are you? Pretty much whatever options you have, like whatever job you can get. And so I was lucky that it's worked out where I get to do this. And now, I don't know, now it's just like, again, it's another step, and I want to like do stuff with my ideas, like,
yeah,
and they don't exactly fit into BMX in general, you know, by themselves. Like, I don't know, like the other day Bobby Cano talked to Joe Simon.
Yep.
And that was like one of my favorite like podcasts. And yes, he's made some great BMX videos, but like him talking about stuff outside of that had me so intrigued. And I don't know, that's just like kind of where things are, like not leaving BMX, but like, okay, well, production is how, like, I don't know, how do you comprehend, how do you get these shoots, how do you get something to look this crispy, how do you use lighting, how do you like I don't know, like edit something tight with sound layers, and like, I don't know, I do all that stuff, but I like want to know how you do it better and how you can like just improve on it. And so yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm talking in circles about how I just want to kind of want to use other things, but like that's pretty much it. I don't know, I am really excited to like show the videos, like to make the videos and like see them come out, because I don't think it's so hard to explain like the vision I have for these. I don't know, just it's different, and again, it's gonna look weird in the beginning, but like I want things to be funny and interesting, and sometimes I'd love for them to even be almost emotional, like,
yeah, that's necessary,
just like all around, like, I don't know, I'm just trying. We'll figure out how to do it. But that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, man. So I think we've covered Yawn extensively. I've been meaning to ask
so,
something this whole time that Noah at the Scene's Not Dead brought up at the very beginning, and I just kept forgetting because we kept getting into it. Is Yawn Media coming back? The death of Ugly Filmer.
What is it? No, it's not. It's actually supposed to be simultaneous.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm not gonna work on Ugly Filmer stuff right at the moment until I get some stuff. So it was supposed to be that like sandwich video.
Yeah.
Right. Sandwich video comes out on Yawn. Behind the scene comes out Ugly Filmer. That's like how it's supposed to go, so that I could get really specific on like nerdy things with people who want that.
Yeah.
And like the clean finished thing goes to Yawn. But at the moment, I might even let some behind the scenes kind of stuff go out on Yawn, so I can get some momentum, so that when I go using Ugly Filmer as like the side thing, it'll start to make sense more. But I need the momentum on Yawn, and if I try and spread myself too thin right away, it's not going to work out very well. But no, there's a long-term plan with the Ugly Filmer thing. And I mean, technically, from doing the Unclick podcast, enough people have talked about like teaching video stuff that I was like kind of hoping that somewhere along the line with Ugly Filmer there could be the learning aspect. Like I don't know if it's Patreon, how it's done. That can be like a course kind of thing, that sort thing of like, people. I don't know.
I think it wasn't
able to teach them.
meant to be that you put the whole idea out there quite yet, because it kind of froze up while you were given that specific idea. So we'll save that one for the future.
All right, we'll leave it alone.
But that's cool to hear that Ugly Filmer is not going to die with Yawn Media, and that the future has a plan for them. I'm stoked on that.
Yeah. I know it's weird. The last time I was here was to promote a YouTube channel that had 2 videos, and here I am. YouTube channel that has 2 videos.
For real this time, though, guys.
I mean, there's a different step taken, and there's a different like level of seriousness behind it. One was, okay, I'll do this on the side, and now it's like I'm gonna do this. So, yeah, it's different.
I'm excited for you. And I guess to kind of shift our talk to more BMX stuff and not so much the Yawn kind of thing, how do you feel currently about the state of like videos and how the media of BMX is like put out there in BMX, as far as like what videos are made, how they're shared, anything like that? Do you have any thoughts on that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, I do have thoughts on it, but like, the more I like look into it, the less I kind of like understand it, or like have a or like an idea about it. But like, dude, the problem is that things seem to be like ever changing, where like at one point I'm like, oh, there's a lot of videos, but like, I don't know, none of them, how do you like, some of them, they're like, there's a lot of videos, but they're not getting a lot of attention. And then like, what video is catching your attention? Even like even a good video might not catch somebody's attention if they don't like know who it is, or, you know, I don't know, certain, that's why, you know, obviously the bigger pros are almost always clicked on. You see the name, you go, I'm gonna click on it. But like, there was a point where that wasn't even happening. But now, like in these last few months, there's been a ton of videos coming out, and they're all like really good. And so it doesn't seem like there's anything consistent in like what's going on with the way videos are being made, or like I don't know, at one point it made me think like people aren't going to watch edits anymore, like, but now I'm like, oh no, they are. But the thing that like I feel like um, the thing I feel like we're kind of like, there was a point where people got a lot of views, and it almost kind of felt like a flood in a way.
Yeah.
And like cult videos were like doing really well, and a certain like recipe of like rider slash the time slash like kind of where we went, certain things, it was like, all right, cool, we're consistently getting to like 100K views. That's like, to me, a pretty good benchmark. But and here's the thing, when I talk about views, I'm not like super concerned on like, oh man, we need a lot of views. It just makes me think that people are reacting positively to them if they do have a lot of views, and that maybe they didn't really care for the ones that don't have a lot of views. And you know, again, that is like, maybe some people are more popular than other people, or maybe the video just wasn't as captivating, or who knows what other thing made it so people didn't watch it. But like, one of the things I find kind of crazy is in the time frame where we're saying, or at least when I was thinking that views were down and like people weren't watching edits anymore, Lewis Mills drops his video, and most videos at that time were probably getting to 20K, maybe 50K. Like that was like the view range that you would see, and like that 50K was a good video. But Lewis's video went to like 240,000. Like how is it so much higher? It's insane. It's gnarly. It's like a crazy video, but it's like, it's that crazy that it's that high. It's like way up there, like leaps and bounds above other people's videos. Not like, oh wow, he got 100K and other people are getting 50K. He's like, and it, rightfully so. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, it was an insane video. It's super crazy. Does it need to be that, or is it like what are those things that make it like?
Just trying to dissect it to see what got it
in a way. But not even just like what got it there. It's like, oh, people aren't watching videos, but they're watching that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, like, I don't know. And the thing is, my man is super good, super talented. You don't see him that often, and he put together a banger. And the music was great, and Ben knows what he's doing, putting that together. Like, so yes, it's a great recipe for like a super successful video. But like, it seemed like it's hard to get people to watch something that's good. So, and obviously that was amazing. So I don't know. I don't really know where I'm trying to go with this. It's just that like, it seemed like crazy for it to spike up that high in a time when it seemed like it was hard to get people to watch like anything. And it's, I guess it's a testament to how good that video is. But you know, things seem to be coming around now, and I go to like everybody's YouTube channels, and I kind of look at like, there was a time where I could predict what a video would get. I'd be like, oh, this video with this person probably filmed for this long, it'll probably do this much, and then in a couple days it would get to that point, and it would pretty much stay there and be like, oh yeah, that's what I figured. And that's not like, that's just me taking in what I see, you know. Like I certain, but I don't know, it's changing now. Like some things are going way less and other things are going way higher. A lot of the like solid like BMX edits that we watch that, you know, are from pros or by a brand or something are doing well, and other videos, they have like a hardcore fan base built into them. Like like the stuff that's in the 5,000 view range is like probably every person I know, you know, like it's within the BMX community within the 5,000 view range. Right. And then it goes higher up as like, you know, somebody like Chase Hawk gets a ton of views because he's well liked and known bigger than BMX, same as like a Dennis Anderson kind of like thing. They just have other people have their eyes on him, where the BMX community is really a like 5 to 10K kind of like community, and then like, I don't know, I think it just rewatches from there. But like, I don't know, it's just, I kind of like gauge these like views as like, okay, this is like hardcore people, and then this is like a little bit broader, and then this is like even bigger than that. So
dude, the whole time you're talking about that, I was just like, yep, I remember that time. Yep, I remember that time. Like you're talking about, it felt like there was a time where people just weren't watching edits, and I can vividly remember that time and just being like, yeah, dude, an edit literally isn't even like worth caring too much about if you want to put it out there for the views kind of thing for a brand, because there was pros, like big name pros out there putting out an edit that was getting 2,000 or 3,000 views, and I'm like, what is going on? That is weird. And then now, I mean, the way you talk about it now, the views are starting to go up a little bit. I could see what you're saying.
But it's not like the heyday of getting 100K kind of deal. Like I don't know. I used to see that across the board a lot more often.
Yeah, I got a good example for that.
What is that?
I was just going to say, like, the edit that I put out on Christmas Day, I wholeheartedly believe that that is the best edit that I've ever made in my life. But there's, back in the heyday of things with the come up and posting videos and like things going crazy, I had a video that came out. So the reason why I even bring this up, because my girlfriend and I, Victoria, we watched my edit, and she watched that, and she's like, that's the best video you've ever made before. And I'm like, really? Like, really? And so I pulled up the one that I made previously that got over 10,000 views, and it was like, holy crap, because that's huge for a personal video. And we watched it, and I was like, oh my God, there's like every single trick in this video. 1 million other people in the world can do this trick, and there's nothing super special about really that much of it other than the song, maybe. And then watched my new one again, and it was like, dude, this one is way better, but it's never going to get anywhere near 10,000 views because of the time. I think
it could.
I don't.
No, I mean, it could, but I mean, this is what I think the both of us are kind of working at in a way, is like, if you build the audience up and people are wanting to tune into brand and they're wanting to tune into me, and that's why like putting myself in the video is important now, and like that's what you do. Like it's more so like people are tuning in to go on this adventure with me of growing Yawn, and but where am I going? Who am I hanging out with next? Like what, and I want to put writers and videographers and photographers in front of the camera, but I'm there with them, and that's what makes it like this like journey thing. And I think that's just all we can do at this point is like is first off, we do what we want to do, because we've been talking views, but like that isn't.
It's not the point.
I make this joke. It's a point for when I work for a brand that is putting money out, and I want the best return. How do you get that return? I would love to go back to a DVD, because a DVD was like you work on it, you make this thing, everything you want is in that disc. Yeah. And then you sell that to the bike shop, and then you don't know. You sell it to the mail, and then you don't know. It's just like, well, we sold 500 copies. How many views is 500 copies? Well, most of them didn't make it out of the bike shop, or and maybe watched once. Like, you don't have any clue. You have no idea. And that would be like, because the way you do is that people did watch them and had a reaction and went, oh man, your part was like one of my favorite parts, or whatever they might say. It affected the community. That's all it was really about. And that's why YouTube is not about the community. It is, but like, it's like getting clicked on by people that don't ride or whatever. And yeah, I hope to like make something entertaining for somebody that didn't ride to want to watch it as well. But that's really just for like a better understanding of like representing BMX to a larger population, so that they could kind of get what's going on and see that there's something like I don't know, like a little bit more meaningful than riding like a kid's bike. You know, it's like
building a connection.
Yeah, there's a culture and like a way of doing things, and all the way, like even tonight, like I have no idea. They're setting up the lights right now in Hawaii, having a session. I have no idea. Like these things are going on all over the place. I tune into your Instagram, you're out doing stuff, like, I don't know, it's just like all over the place. People are doing things, and like getting to shine light on those kinds of things would be a really cool thing to do. And I forget what we're talking about. We're talking about views and how they don't really matter. But they do, because you get to see that reaction. Oh yeah, I was saying because when you put money out for that kind of stuff, you want to see some kind of like, it's nice to see some kind of return. And again, they do reflect like people paying attention. I think that's what I was trying to say about the Lewis Mills thing. Is it's like, oh yeah, views don't matter, and no, they don't. But that one is so many views, and you're gonna like, so then somehow it matters. I don't know. It does and it doesn't.
Yeah, it just depends on the conversation that you're having, and I think it would be super interesting to just have a 5-minute look at the analytics of that video, because I could tell you in 1 minute of looking at the analytics on that video where all the views came from and how they were gathered, because you can see, oh, this many came from YouTube putting it out to just the entire YouTube world, this many came from external, and then you could click on it and see all of the different websites and Instagram posting it, and people coming from Facebook or wherever else, and you could just tell how it kind of got around. But without access to that, like, I don't have any idea. Maybe YouTube decided to share it.
I mean, with the reaction people had of probably like clicking in, watching it, and watching it again, wouldn't YouTube think to push it out more?
Oh,
like,
yeah, 1,000%.
Excitement going on here. Let's get it out there. So yeah, that definitely probably works in his favor. Do you ever like pay for things to be promoted?
No,
I've never done.
I will never. I'm gonna put myself in a freaking corner by saying this, but I think it's a safe corner. I will never pay for advertising on something without a very good reason on it, because I've thought about that before, and because I have like a part-time job where I actually do YouTube for a company, we have developed a strategy of like every Friday we take a look at the video, or every whatever, they do it on Fridays, but every week they look at the video that came out that week, and they see like, okay, do we want to make an ad campaign behind this video for the next week, so that we can potentially get it out there and get it seen and get pushed with the YouTube algorithm, or does it not make sense to do that for this video and we'll do it for a different one? So like, I've never personally done it, but I've seen how that can work in people's favor.
Yeah. No, I never done it either. I kind of like didn't think much of it. I've noticed other people doing it. I see some brands doing it, and I don't know if it's like good or bad or weird. Sometimes, I mean, things changing all the time. At one point, I was like, man, isn't that kind of weird? But then I'm like, maybe that's part of the game. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't personally feel like I need to or need to worry about anything like that, because I would love to just figure out the base of it. Like, that seems like you're like using money to inject success, but I want to like, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well,
it could be smart money spent. I have no idea, but I want to.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to let you finish your thought.
Thought is finished.
Okay. So here's where the perspective could look at it, and Noah says my vote is bad, at least in BMX. So one, for a company, I don't understand
I feel the same way.
I don't understand how companies haven't all figured out that, hey, ding, 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 make a video that's a minute long, make the first 5 seconds of it very engaging, pay for promotion, set your demographics up so that they go to the right people, and boom, you're instantly getting seen by so many more people than what you're getting by paying for any other type of advertising in BMX, period. Guaranteed. I'm looking at the wrong camera, but I'm pretending like I'm looking in your eyes right now, because I know it for a fact. I don't get why companies haven't done this. It's just the way, I mean, think about it. Every single brand that is huge that needs to advertises on YouTube. Apple advertises on YouTube. Why would BMX not advertise on YouTube? So like company wise, I'm like, dude, it's a no-brainer. You should all be doing it. And but whenever it comes to like a personal person, so here's where I think why it could makes sense from a person wise thing is that because the way YouTube's algorithm works is that it has a box that it thinks all of your viewers are in, but that box is sitting in an array of a million other boxes side by side, but it thinks you're in this box. If you pay for advertising, what you're essentially doing is paying for access to a whole bunch of other boxes, and it could be that those boxes are people who want to see your videos but aren't actually getting it because they're not already in your box. So if you pay for that, like I think it was at Sam Downs I saw on a video ad on YouTube the other day. I didn't watch it all the way through, but the beginning was like, it was a nice shot. But what he's doing is like giving access to a bigger box that could bring more people or make his box bigger. And so that's why, like, it can make sense. Now, that is from a purely, like, objective perspective. Subjectively, you can think whatever you want of that. Like, if you think it's gross or grimy, okay, whatever. But from an objective point of view, that is why someone might do that.
Well, I mean, I'm about going on these podcasts and going on these shows and talking. Like, I think it's fun to do. I enjoy doing it. But, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are making noise. So how are you going to make noise anymore? I have to go on this podcast. I go on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have to tell it more. Video could just come out. That's fine. But it needs to be talked about more. And there needs to be, like, more conversation about it in a way. And it doesn't need to be more conversation about like a specific thing. It's just like more awareness. And it seems like that's what you're paying for with the app nowadays. And I don't know, maybe it's not like it used to be. I just find it funny when an edit itself is promoted. I could see it when it's like
weird.
All right, here pegs are like something that's more of a promotional thing. But when the edit's promoted, I'm like, well, that's kind of strange. But again, I'm the one saying, like, if there's not enough views on it, is it worth making the money from a company standpoint? Should that not be that money spent in a different way? Like, should we go about making different videos? Like, but I don't know. Again, the wave changed now that I think that, like, you know, a brand should probably periodically be doing edits when we were trying to do, I think, a lot more often. That's why I'm like, all right, well, maybe if the pace is slowed down, then like the whole thing will make more sense. But there's been so many good videos coming out lately, and I think they've been doing well, and like it feels like recharging again. And for me, it's great because I don't know, I'm hoping that I get to be out a little, like, while people are filming some of these videos and I get to like maybe get to share some stories. Like Max just got Ender for he's in the mix video that's coming out, and
he's got the Ender for it.
Well, yes. So he just got for the video, and I might have said too much, but my point is, he fell, and like it was like kind of nerve-wracking for him, and I ended up filming a bunch, and so like it's not necessarily a full video, but it'll be a cool thing to help promote the video. You know, just like extra pieces of information that go along with what like the main video is. Like, I don't know, it just everything needs like a little bit of help now, like as far as like getting people to understand what is going on or what went into it, or just like the story behind it, because it used to just be the video was fine, but now it's like, why am I clicking on this? Like, there's so many things to click on.
Yeah, dude. I guess I could clarify a little bit more too. So when I say that like a company, every single company should be doing this, I don't necessarily mean they should be doing it with like a specific type of video either, or a type of like riding or anything like that. I think it should be whatever makes sense for the demographic that you're selecting that video to go to. So that might be an edit, it might be a product thing, it might be both put together. But what I think it is very weird if it is just a person or company putting ad dollars behind an edit on Google Ads just for the sake of like trying to get that put out there more. I think the idea of it, and this is maybe just me being like, I don't know, like thinking of what I would like it to be in my mind, is that like the edit thing in BMX is something that I don't, unless it's a catered edit towards like promoting a product, I feel like there's no way to really know what is coming from an edit as far as like the return on that investment is. So like in my eyes, an edit is this thing that people work towards, and it's like a personal journey of like, all right, I want to make this edit that's a culmination of all my riding for the last 2 years, and I'm stoked on it. And okay, maybe it's not going to get 50,000, 500,000 views, but like it's my journey, and I want to put this thing out there. And like paying for views behind that is like weird, and it almost feels like it's like a purity thing of like it should just be for me, and I'm not trying to push this thing out there. But on the other hand, okay, now we got this product coming out, we should be making a minute long ad about this product and pushing that as hard as we possibly can to sell as much of it as possible to be able to make the edits that we want for fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Colt's defense, like in Robbie's defense in particularly, not necessarily in a defense, but just to give a good example of, I think things are done right. Like, even though the views kind of like go all over the place, never once has I ever really been in a situation of like, oh man, this video isn't doing well, or, you know, maybe it did less than we thought, and there's like a real problem. It's just me personally knowing that like number usually kind of affects it, but like I've never been like, and it also is me personally, like, just because like, you know, it's not necessarily my money out of my pocket to go make these videos. I understand production and that, like, money's being spent. How are we going to get the most out of it? And I know that money being spent is from people at the warehouse working hard, you know, people buying the product. Like, it's all this like cycle, and I only want it to like work together in that cycle. So I would never want to like do something bad and be like, whatever, you know, like, yeah, you maybe think that way for like a corporate brand or something, like, you guys have money to blow, like whatever. But like when I know it's not, and that money matters, where it's coming from and how it's being spent, you want it to do it the best, especially if I think the video is really good. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And everyone who's seen the preview of it loves it. And then it comes out and it just is okay. And you're like, oh man, I thought people were going to really like bite into this. And like, but you know, who knows? But yeah, I never really thought of, I think the same way you do about like ads on like an actual edit. Like, it seems a little weird. But again, man, like, I don't know how much you're putting into the videos you make. Like, I'm putting in like, you know, if I have to start spending lots of money, I might think differently on the return. If I'm traveling and like doing all these things, like, I don't know. I hope I don't have to ever have to like cross that. Like, I don't know. I think there's a way to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and what you're saying is essentially like where I'm trying to go with it, in that like, I feel like what makes the most sense is that you put a lot of focus and a lot of energy into selling the stuff. In like Cult's edits, guaranteed are selling the stuff because people see them and they want to buy them, and so you put the energy into the things.
How does that not make?
Well, you can't.
How does that not make it? And how then promote them? Because that is the thing that's selling the thing.
Well, so hold on. I got to finish the thought and then we'll get to there. What I'm trying to drive at is that like you do the things that sell the product the most so that you can make that edit and make the best thing that you think it needs to be. And then when you put it out, you're not like, oh man, I'm kind of bummed if it doesn't do as good, because this like might be the thing that's helping me. You know what I'm saying? It takes a little bit of the pressure off of the results of the edit if you are putting like your ad dollars behind the product stuff and figuring out how. And the reason why I'm saying this stuff about edits is because there's not a great way to measure the result from an edit unless you put out an edit and immediately the next day you see sales just go up like crazy. There's not a great way to measure it. So that's kind of where I'm getting out with that. Like, we are 100% on the same page. I'm just like trying to figure out how people could enable themselves to do those edits and trips and things that are the most fun and that we all really want to do, but we don't know how to measure the result of. So it's like hard to justify them as much if they cost so much money and you're like, well, I don't really know what I got back from it yet.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're good on this topic because it's just like a thing that I don't even think we care about that much. We know what's awesome about making edits and that they're fun, and personally that we like them. So
we all love edits.
It's just that, especially when the business is in there. But I know you started with like kind of like the landscape of the media right now and stuff like that. And to be honest, like I don't know. I think that media is it's gonna shift. And I think it's going to shift back to like magazine style, at least like a hub, not a magazine itself, but like the outlets, between probably Dig, Hour, and anyone else that's like kind of in your lane in a way that like kind of becomes like a staple. And I think like just like over the next couple of years, you'll probably see things kind of just like form into like a new standard, I guess. And I just think that like it should really kind of come down. I don't want it to be like separate in any kind of way, but like, I don't know. I think if people can just hone in on like the things that they are really about, like I want to say that like, your outlook and like, I don't know, the things that like are coming across, I don't know, your feed or your just the things that you're seeing in BMX are probably way different than the things I'm seeing in BMX, but there's a plenty of overlap. Like there's like the obvious common thing, but I'm guarantee a ton of riders that are probably in your area or like just like scenes that you're familiar with that do some probably real crazy things that are more along the lines of your riding that like aren't on my Instagram. I'm not seeing that kind of stuff. And so it seems like nobody should be so narrow as to like only seeing that, but like maybe things kind of do go like, at one point, like it seems pretty, you would probably agree with me when Vital BMX was around, what you were probably going to see on there, like for sure. And
I
would be
already know where you're going with that.
And there would be street stuff and some other stuff, but for sure it's going to kind of cater to kind of what I think the interest of Kyle Carlson was. And again, it was everything. It wasn't, I'm not trying to say it wasn't doing that, but like, it was looked at as like a, or at least I knew kind of the people that they were going to be interviewing, those kinds of things. Like it had a different lane in a way.
It was a contest park rider thing.
It very much had that kind of thing going on. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but like for Yawn, especially when I decided like to reach out to like, all right, well, maybe I'm going to work with this person or we're going to do behind the scenes of this guy. I'm not going to like exclude anybody in particular, but like the things I'm going to go towards naturally are going to be things that are in my scope, that are in my like, from Colt Riders to like Brock Rayford's, like this whole, it's not like a whole genre really. It's kind of like the mainstream street riding kind of scene and some of the underground stuff. But like, I'm hoping that it's going to be a lot of that so I can help channel some of that out. And now you can tune in here and see a bit of that, and you go over to Our BMX and you see what they've got, and Dig's got a lot of the Euro stuff covered, and it's just like, I don't know, it's instead of it being individual people, these like different places you tune in for these different kind of like almost like different TV stations have different things on them.
It's like a niche kind of thing.
It could go towards something like that in a way, and maybe it won't go there, but it seems like you're almost like doubling down on your audience to like really make sure that you're doing something that is genuine to yourself, and then also to the people following you, and then that only should make like more like hardcore like audience members, like people who are like participating and interested in like what you're putting out there. Because I don't know, it's just like there could be a bunch of posts that go on social media right now from like an RBMX or a dig, and I'm like, boom, 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 and finally I'm like, oh, cool, Corey Martinez, boom, boom, and I'm not. It's not. I don't know. They're not. Nobody's doing anything wrong. It's just like it seems like it almost needs to be like shifted into like a more. I don't know. Like I don't know how to put it, but yeah, just more streamlined into like a certain style in a way.
I get what you're saying for sure.
That's what people's lives are like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't want something, you just edit it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, something you don't. But if I'm like, I'm tired of seeing Brad Moore. I don't need to see any more candy bar ice picks on the spine for
boom,
6 hours or whatever. I'm just like, boom, he's off. I'm never even. But like, if I'm like, what's going on the Ohio BMX scene, and I tune into that Instagram page, and there you are everywhere. Like, I don't know. There's just like, what I'm saying? Like, just kind of little categories. And I don't mean to like make it like separate for everybody, but like, it just does seem like it would kind of like, turn into that in the future of media in a way.
Well, and so here's my whole perspective on this subject is that what you're saying right now is an idea that basically gives value back to the media, because right now there's like almost no value to the media in that, like, why does a company pay for media advertising right now? Like, what are they getting for their money? And it's like, well, that's why you see all the companies making their own videos and posting their own videos on YouTube, is because they don't need to pay to have something just reposted on the internet when they could just post it on their own page and get just as many views from it. And what you're proposing is something that like brings that value back, where it's like, instead of you scrolling through your feed and you're like, oh, like 90% of the posts you're seeing are from companies that paid that media outlet to pay that or post that thing. You're like, oh, this was posted because it fits in that genre, and I'm stoked on that and I want to see it, rather than like, oh, there's another paid post that I don't really care about that's only there because it's paid. It's like, there's a value there again for the people who are going to be drawn to that thing because of what they're doing.
I have like almost nothing to say. You're exactly right about it, but I have almost nothing to say about like the metrics of how that works. Like, that's why I can't like speak to. I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't. Fudger works in this world. He would be like, well, how's that gonna make money? How, like, I don't know. Like, I would love to have more in-depth conversations about this. It probably doesn't make good for like entertainment.
It freaking should. It's the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about publicly.
At the same time, like, I think figuring out how to get that going is like, important. But it is a crazy time, because I think that, like, again, with the way things change, it's I don't know, something to me feels like it's gonna stable out within the next couple of years. I think
for sure.
I think nothing is stable until after the next election. And even then, I think it's going to be, who knows what's going on, but like, things with the economy and the way people are interacting with the internet and like business and like, it's just stuff that's way outside of BMX. And I think like, you've talked to Mueller, like he talked more about like some of the issues that are going on with just like products and sales and all this kind of stuff. Well, is not not affected, but like everybody's affected by this stuff, and it's not just affected in the bike brands, it's affected in just the economy in general, and how stuff works. And seen it change when I go to like music stores and then go to buy like a Guitar Center or something, and they have like no inventory in their stores. It's like, well, what is happening here? It's like everything is like everything's like different. And so I can't like hold the BMX industry to like, oh, you guys are messing something up. They're not doing anything wrong. They're like trying to figure out how to stabilize, because I think all they really want to do is make good bike products and sell them and get people psyched on bike riding.
Right.
I think that's really all that is there at the end. And it's just rocky when it's uncertain and things are weird. But I guarantee that like it is a rough patch to get figured out. Again, even if like the bike companies went away, are the bike riders going away? Like, I think everybody's still going to be riding bikes. Like, and again, the bike companies aren't going to go away. It's just like a harder time to it's not as turnkey, you know? It's like, all right, there's a new problem today, a new problem tomorrow. But like at some point, this stuff will start to get figured out and there'll be a rhythm again. And like, I don't know, in 2019, I guess early 2020, we had a really good thing going with like how we were doing projects, and it was like all based on like, okay, they, you know, kind of like we were saying about like, how do you know that the project is working? Well, there was like a correlation between us putting out a project and sales happening, and you know, without us really doing it, it kept things moving. And like, yeah, we can see that without doing as many videos, it's harder. But like, then again, the videos were just doing less in general. So where does the effort go? And like, so yeah, it's just a figuring out thing. But yeah, no, I think that like bringing value back to the media, which is I think what we were actually talking about, is like something to be figured out. And I think will be figured out within the next couple of years, because yeah, I think the social media thing, people are like getting less interested in it. I think
right,
like maybe
they are.
Maybe they're moving platforms, but like, yeah, I mean, it seems like this has been the like Instagram detox, or like the TikTok like you're just like, yeah, I'll just keep my phone down. I don't really need to see as much. But I think that all that really means is that hopefully people are out doing things together, and then so it's like less like, how am I going to make something somebody wants to see, and like, why don't we just go do something, and if something happens, it could be interesting. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, taking that approach probably make more interesting things and make people watch again. But it's just like people are just flooded, and that's why at the end of the day you might go to our BMX and just go scroll through and see either the Instagram or the website or whatever, their YouTube channel, you know, like you might just land there at the end of the day instead of like, oh wait, I need to see what's going on at this bike company, and now this bike company, and then wait, this rider, and then like, I don't know, somehow it should get put into a place where it's like, okay, I can see it all. I mean, that's what Instagram I think was supposed to be, but now it's so flooded that I don't even think you see the people you follow anymore. I think it just gives you suggestions. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% on the same page with you with that. And like, I think that these conversations are so important to have, because especially like in a public discourse like we are, because we're talking about the stuff that the general BMX public is consuming. And if you're going to have the conversations like that, trying to figure out what the general BMX public wants without the general BMX public being involved with those conversations, you're playing a guessing game. So if you have the exact conversation in this type of forum where we can go back and forth and have like, well, these are my thoughts. No, these are my thoughts. Okay, well, here's my reaction to your thoughts. And now we meet somewhere in the middle, and then the public is like, oh, okay, now I heard all of it, and now I can decide how I feel based on that. Like, I can let you know directly, instantly, is like, yes, I'd be into this. No, I wouldn't be into this. And you just read the comments and immediately have a greater connection to the people we're trying to reach.
True. That's pretty true. I forget that it's like that. I'm still like tucked away in my head. Like I'm trying to branch out and be like more open to community and this and that. But like, yeah, I'm like tucked away in this room editing a video, and then I put them out, but sometimes I forget people watch them, and then like react to them, and like, yeah, I need to open up and get that sense of community. I don't even think about doing something where somebody could give input, and I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that too.
What else you got?
It's easy. Our BMX left a chat in their but I think it's kind of behind on what we were talking about. It said brands pay for advertising, and then parentheses, commercials, billboards, etc. to reach an audience. A brand can build a following on their own channels / verticals, but there's always an audience outside of those. And so I think that where that could come into play is the thing that you're talking about, of like this hub where it's like all of the brands and everything cool about BMX exists in this one place for maybe a specific genre. And I think using the Vital example is a really good one, because people knew what they were going to get when they went to Vital. They were going to get stuff about contests and park riders, and also like the absolute essentials of what came out in BMX. Like if it was a big video and something really awesome happened, it was gonna be there. Plus this genre of riding is like, that brought value to Vital, because that brought an audience who wanted that specific thing. And your idea just makes so much sense. Is like, if you have this genre and you include everything that should be included from that, well then boom, instantly you have a whole audience. Not instantly, but you have a way.
But the problem is audience size, audience participation, because it could be a tiny thing. Like it could be not, you know, and there's not really anything to it. That's why it probably has to be so broad.
Oh, for sure.
You know, in like the way media is right now. But again, I don't know. I don't work in that world. And I mean, the media side of what I'm trying to do is just more that it's media that I'm working with, and not media like what MooreBMX and Dig are doing. Like I'm not even like trying to like step into their world, because it seems very difficult. And I hope that help them, like do some stuff for Hour, do some stuff for Dig, like make, you know, like I think that like the more original content they can have that is captivating and speaks to people, the easier turning around like sales or like ads are to you know, the clients or whatever they would be called. I don't know, but my point is, like, it's not that they do necessarily bad, it's just that it needs to be like, it obviously takes a lot of work and takes money for those kinds of things to happen. So I think that like the thing I'm trying to say is, like, if they had more of it coming out more consistently, it probably could be better for you know, I guess what they call it, like audience retention, like tuning into like what they're doing all the time. And the reason I feel weird talking about it is because I don't want any kind of like anything to sound like I'm talking shit as far as like, yeah, they're not doing enough or whatever, because it's a lot of work. I'm like, again, I haven't even put out 2 videos yet. Like, this stuff is not easy, man. Like, I get that. I get that it's hard to do. My point is just like, you know, the stuff that they put out, the more engaging it gets, obviously, the better the responses. And I don't know. I just wonder if it's like, can be. I don't know. I really actually might not have any more things to say about this topic.
You're like, please save me from this forest fire. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I can't really think where I'm going, but I mean, that's in the hands of other people. And again, if I can help, if there's any projects I can do, especially being freelance now and able to contribute to, like, again, the broader BMX spectrum.
Yeah. So here is the last thing I'll say about this, and we don't have to talk about it anymore, because this is not a subject for a Veesh podcast. You know, this is a subject for an everybody conversation. It's just something that came up in what we're talking about, and something that came up in the Unclicked one was like, before I get there, where my head is at in all of this, and some stuff that I observed over the past, 7 years of having this YouTube channel and like basically becoming a BMX media outlet, but like unintentionally with intent. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it just kind of happened. But like what you notice is just like how secluded everything is and put into their own areas, and it got brought up. It was like so many times you guys in that first Unclick were like, everybody just needs to work together. But then it was like, unless we're going to talk about working with and sharing our competition stuff in the BMX media space. And I was like, see, this is the problem. And like, that's all I'm going to say about it, is like, everybody just needs to work together regardless of what we're talking about. And if somebody makes something cool, if Yawn Media makes something cool, I'm going to talk about it. If Dig BMX does something cool, like the circle contest, video contest that they did, I'm going to talk about it. If BMX Union starts to post on YouTube again and does cool interviews again, I'm going to talk about it, because that's what I do. And like, that's what I've become. And I want to help everyone, not just select people or the companies that want to pay me to promote their stuff. Like, and I just think as soon as we get to that place of everybody trying to help everybody, because we're in the internet, and that is the segue to the thing I was going to bring up, because you mentioned eyeballs, and I think this is a really interesting thing to just wonder about, because I don't know the answer to this, but like, there's obviously a certain amount of eyeballs in the actual like people who ride BMX and are looking to watch a BMX video space. I wonder what that number is. Like, if we had to put a number on it, what would you guess of people who ride and could possibly watch a BMX video that are actually BMX people, not just some random dude who bought a complete bike, but like a real person who rides?
I mean, I want to say it's like 5,000 people.
Yeah, I think it's way bigger than that.
I don't think it's bigger than that.
I feel like it has to be bigger than that.
I mean, maybe our definition of like.
Well, let's define that first then.
The like. How could it be? How could it be more than 5,000? I mean, I guess.
Well,
I don't know, man. How many? All right. Do you think it's 10,000? What do you think it is?
Okay.
I want to understand what you're thinking, because I just look at these particular videos and I see based on these views, and then I think about like how many people I know, which I know a lot of people, and then I think, well, there's a lot of people I know of but I haven't met, and then like, yeah, obviously there's plenty of people I don't know that ride, but like, I mean, I don't think this number is like that big. Like that, I don't think it's like.
Well, let's define
huge.
it. So what are you considering as a person that gets included in that number?
Dude, I don't know. This might even be a conversation to have. Like,
why not? I mean, it's just a fun one.
I think you have more thought into this than I do. So I'm gonna hear what you're saying and I'll add to it. Okay, but I don't know if I have like.
I'll throw.
Something to say.
So you think it's around like 5,000 people who are like.
I don't. That to me is hardcore BMX riders.
Yeah,
do you
that's
know?
Fair.
You know Seth Allen is Smith Nose Bar. Yeah. Yes, that is one of the most hardcore BMX nerds that I know, and those are the people I'm talking about. That's like super. That's like at the center of BMX. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a post props era, like, I don't know, like a Trey Jones-esque rider, but still knows what's going on in the street world. Like, just like, I don't know, dude, I know my range is pretty big, but I still think like 5,000 is like the core, maybe 10,000 people total BMX riders. Like, I don't know, maybe I have a hard time judging how many people there. I don't know. It seems like how could it be that any bigger than that?
It's tough, man. Yeah, this is a really hard question and thing to figure out. And I mean, there is no figuring it out. Like, there's no way we can be like, yep, that's it. But I feel like, I mean, just looking at it like from the perspective of Swamp Fest, you say, or, well, no, Roots was too far. Roots Jam was too far in the past to use it. But like Swamp Fest, there's a couple thousand people there. I would say at least half of those people
I think
ride.
there's a couple thousand people at Swamp Fest. Now Trey could tell me how many people there actually are, but I don't believe that there's a couple thousand people at Swamp Fest.
You don't think so?
Really? Is that what a couple thousand people looks like? I think
have
that's
no
like,
idea.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think that's like 500 people.
Well, I'm gonna
Like,
Google.
no? Am I wrong?
1,000 people. 1,000 people in
I'm
an
saying that I
image.
think it's like 500 people. I don't think that's 1,000 people. But Trey, he might know how many tickets he sold, and there it is. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to put that out there, but I'm just saying, like,
I don't know either, man. I mean, we're both sitting here like we don't know, and that's why I think it's a fun little like.
but like, so I'm saying like that if it's 500, even to 1,000 people at Swamp Fest, a lot of those people are pretty core riders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you think? I don't know. Is that? I guess what I'm saying is, if there is 1,000 there, then I'm saying that's a fifth of what the like hardcore rider scene is like.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
Like, I don't know, man.
So what I would
5,000
consider.
Sounds like nothing, but also that's a lot of people. Like,
Oh,
think
it
about how
is.
many people it is. I bet you could list. You should just, next time I talk to you, you should count every person you know that rides a bike. If you've met them or not, just heard of them. Just start getting.
Well, I can do that
collecting
right
it down.
now. I
Just
can.
start Yeah, you could do that right now. Go
Not
for it.
counting. I can't
Do
do
it.
it. What I can get
Go
close on,
figure
though.
out.
Hold on. What I can get close on is my Instagram following number. How many people I'm following, because I only follow probably less than 10 people who don't ride. And my
Okay. Well, what's your number saying?
I follow 1,353 people right now. So I would say, and I only follow people that I have met, and the people that I haven't met are people that are hardcore riders that I'm just really stoked on. So like,
Yeah.
I would say at the very least 1,000 of these people that I follow ride and would be so. And I guess I should clarify where I sit in my definition of who I would count is somebody whose like eyeballs are available to watch a BMX video, is somebody who might not necessarily be like a hardcore, rider who's going out 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, but like somebody who loves BMX enough that they want to watch BMX videos a couple times a week and actually rides sometimes.
I literally was thinking riders, and again, I use Seth as the example. That's like somebody that's in my head. But yeah, obviously there's plenty of people who are into it, who enjoy watching the BMX video and are about it, but not like living it so hardcore. So yeah, it definitely broadens. If you're going there, then yes, we are getting a bigger number of spectators. But
I'm just curious
You
what
doing
you
some
thought numbers wise would be people who are like eyeballs that are out there for BMX videos, because there's what clued me into this was when I was watching a tech guy on YouTube talking about like making a review on something. He's like, if I don't put that out the same day that everyone else puts out their video, like I get less eyeballs because there's only a finite number of people available who are even going to watch the thing. So that made me wonder about the BMX side. I was like, I wonder what it could even be on the BMX side of things.
So I have this other thing. This is like almost back to YouTube views thing. I don't know why I didn't bring it up earlier, but a long time ago, back when videos were being put on Vimeo, the number I saw all the time, and the reason I think that's different is because the game wasn't played the way it is now. Right now, it's like put it on YouTube because it's going to circulate. Back then, it was put it on Vimeo so you can get to the come up or get to Ride or get to Vital
and get
so
past
that
copyright.
then it can be and it would be like it's not as much about the game of like random people watching it on YouTube and hyping up the views, but more so the actual audience. And the number I would see all the time on a video that did well was 30,000 views. 30,000 was a number I saw all the time. And that was like across the board on a video that you would thought was good and did well, and you'd be like, oh, right? And then the numbers started going up, and there were people doing millions, and like it was like this hustle of like, okay, we're gonna get the most views. That was what YouTube did. That's why Vimeo died out. Like as far as being a service, is because the other thing was just it's like injecting traffic and views and like, so anyways, now that that's kind of died down, you could look at a lot of videos and see that like a lot of them are still getting to that 30,000 range. And that's views, right? That's not people. You could go on tons of people's YouTubes and see that their videos sit between like 27 and 35. It's like a lot of videos sit in that range that are from your like pros, top brands. And so to me, there's something in that. But again, that's talking about people watching something and rewatching something and like, oh, I'm going to put this on for breakfast, or it pops up on the playlist that's suggested after something else. And so these views accumulate.
Right.
But at the same time, there's something about that number that seems to be a sweet spot that I think reflects BMX.
I think you're onto something there.
You go to skate, it's a different number because the audience is bigger.
Yeah.
That sits at like 50 to 1,000 like all the time. And I'll see a video come out and it's like, oh, 3 days old, and it's at 50,000 or 70,000 views in a skate world. Well, you put that into the BMX world, it's really at 15,000 views to 20,000 views related because the audience is different size.
I think you're onto something. I was going to say, like when we were talking about the number at the beginning and just like guessing, I was going to say 50, but based on what you're saying, it sounds like you've done a little bit more paying attention than I have. Maybe it is that between 15 and 30.
Just on this particular number, like I just see that happen. I see that number quite often, so that tells me that there's something to it. I guess I don't know, like a certain audience. To me, it's an audience and rewatch, because the way I watch these videos go to those numbers is over a period of time now. It used to be within the first few days. Now what happens is I'll get around to it. Everybody, like myself included, I don't watch things right away. I get around to them. And so that takes now a week for something to really catch up. Some of this stuff lately has been popping up, like Gary Young's video is up because it's above. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just an edit. Gary Young, Odyssey, fucking video they've been working on forever. Hammers, like, yeah, exactly. And that's not common for video now, but that's because it's a lot put in, like years of work put into it. So that's again with the Lewis Mills thing is years of work put into something and put together well and shocking and like all those pieces, and it's going up. Like,
dude, that's crazy, because you look at Brett Silva's video that just came out 2 weeks ago almost, and it's at 17,000. Wow. Yeah. I think you're onto something there, dude. That's crazy.
And that video should be higher. The Brett Silva one is super sick. And I think they did an amazing job on it, and maybe the voiceover thing takes somebody out of the beginning.
Because it's the beginning, yeah.
I think it's cool because it's a promo for, but like it might maybe have some effect on it. But like the writing is insane for that to be like some kind of like promo for a drink or something. I'm like, what the hell? This is pretty fucking wild. Like,
yeah.
Anyways,
interesting. I think
good work, Daryl. Right.
Yeah.
Aaron, everybody. But my point is, my point is like I think that video should be higher. I don't know why it's not. But again, who knows? Who knows why any of that stuff is the way it is? But we do know that like a lot of hard work put into a video will pay off, and something like Gary's video they worked on for a long time kind of shows that, you know, like. But I don't know. It's
I just thought that was an interesting.
It's interesting
thing.
Look at where Dennis's vlogs are at.
Oh.
They probably in the 13 to 14K range.
Holy shit, Veesh, you're on to something.
And that just started, so it has nothing to do with subscribers.
Oh my god!
It has nothing to do with subscribers.
I'm looking at them right now.
It all has to do with the paying attention.
17 on the first one, 7.1 on the second one, but it was how to flip a mountain bike. Third one, 15. Fourth one, 14. You are 100% right there in the pulse of things, and I think that number would make sense, and it would be, as not for this conversation because I'm not a marketing dude, but I would be so interested to hear how someone who's like in the marketing world would look at BMX and look at the marketing side of BMX and be like, okay, that kind of makes sense as far as like companies and all of that stuff and everything.
There's a few things when it comes to marketing that seem to be important, and like one is, does that number need to be higher, or do the numbers of like views/viewers actions have to be more? Like if the number is 17,000 and he prints up say 500 shirts and they sell out, does he need a bigger number on views, or is having 17,000 views or whatever that is active more important than just having a large inflated number of followers or views, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's where the YouTube conversation, YouTube as a business conversation comes into play, where like you don't need a huge following on YouTube if you have an audience that likes you, follows your stuff, and wants to support you. You don't need a big audience if you build a business, or if you have a really great thing that you're selling that you don't need a big audience that follows it specifically to sell.
But I mean, you were interested in what a marketer would do with these numbers looking at for BMX, and my point was, I think a lot of BMX riders are pretty die-hard, where 17,000 is actually decent if most of the people are so interested in it that they would actually purchase or support or come to an event or be involved in something that person's doing. So obviously Dennis is somebody like that. Like I think what he's doing is, as long as he keeps doing it and is like looking at it in that way, which it sounds like he is, like based on the way he talks about doing his vlogs, like it seems like he'll be able to like make something like work that he kind of just plugs into his regular life anyways, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. I see that number all the time. You know, I see things. I'm like, you know, when I put a video out, I'm like, all right, we need to get to 15,000, and then I'm like, all right, are we going to get to 30? And then we teeter out at 25 or something. And so like when something passes 30 for me, I go, all right, cool, we're done. Like we did it. We made a video that's like I think most people have watched or rewatched or whatever. But again, the views don't really count for a single person. You know, there can be people watching it over and over again and stuff like that. So it's just like a general idea of how like well received it is, more so than it is like 35,000 people watched this video. That's not true. You know, like you know, maybe 15,000 watched it twice. Like you know, like I don't know. So,
well, I mean, I'm going to take it to the level of like speculating on these numbers even further. So we take I follow 1,300 people on Instagram. I would say, I mean, there's a ton of those people from all around the whole world and country mostly. But like, okay, 1,300. I'm from Ohio. There's 50 states. Obviously, less riders ride in certain states. So multiply, just do the whatever fast rounding math in your head. Okay, maybe that does make sense for those type of riders in the whole country. But then you think about world. Oh, God. It's on a totally different scale.
That's true. I think I was shooting kind of low on the audience size in a way, but I don't know. I'm sticking with this 13,000 or 30,000 view thing as being some kind of benchmark of like kind of a I don't know, an area. At least I've seen it a lot within videos that I thought were really good and seemed to be well received in BMX. They kind of hit that number.
Yeah,
So,
man. You've convinced me. Like, you've sold me on that subject. But to stop beating that, I wouldn't call it a dead horse. But I had another question here that kind of is a different line of things. It still has to do with filming. So as far as video in BMX goes right now, is there anyone outside of the mainstream, like, you ask any random BMX rider this question, someone they're not going to say that is doing it right now that you follow, that people don't already, like, really all know about?
like a film, like
Filmer.
upcoming filmer
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
So you know what? This is somewhat sad for me to say that I don't know if I have anybody to shout out the moment.
I don't think it's sad. I'll tell you why afterwards.
But the thing I'm hoping is that my endeavors with Yawn will like open the door to me being more involved in that community of filmers. But I've been like the more known filmers, I don't really talk to them, and I need to talk to them more. I know them. I have talked to them in the past, but like none of us, like, they might all be friends with each other and I don't know, have group chats or something going on, but I don't really like communicate with filmers too often. Eddie is like one of my good friends and he films, and I love what he does, but like yeah. Okay, here's the person. All right, I got somebody.
Okay,
I got somebody.
cool.
It's an in the making thing, and it's, I think, going to be really sick. So Preston Okert is, him on the bike.
Yep.
But now you're going to know him on the camera, on the filming. Him and Seth.
Nice.
Been working on a video, and I get snippets of it every once in a while. They've been editing it, and Preston's talked about wanting to get more involved in filming and editing, and he's somebody that I want to like help like teach how to like kind of I don't know, go about speeding up his editing, and he's somebody I think about when I think about like Ugly Filmer or like any kind of like online or if I was going to make a video to help somebody learn how to edit or film, he's somebody I'm thinking of in my head, like how would Preston like want to like see this through kind of thing. Like so yeah, and when I see these, like, he's done some really cool things, and they're like super like, I don't know, man, FBM era style, prop style, just like it's strictly just the writing, and it has some good music in it, and he cuts some funny things in it, and like, I don't know, the flow of it, it's nice to see. I like get these like surprise texts, and I'm like, oh shoot, I got a video to watch, and then he's like, oh, what do you think of this ending? And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I don't know. So that's exciting to me, and he's just somebody like learning how to like figure it out, and he's doing a really good job. So, and he's really good at skating, and I think the thing that he would like to do is figure out how to incorporate some of that Gregson style filming into his like videos he's working on, because he's pretty smooth at getting around and he knows how to film. He just kind of has to like put the two together and kind of just like figure out what to do and what not to do and how to get like those angles to look right. So once he gets that, and then he takes what he's been doing with the editing and stuff, I think he's going to make some really cool stuff. So I hope he continues to make videos after this the 1030D video that he's finishing up right now comes out, hopefully in a couple months. Not trying to put that deadline out there for him, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty close to finishing it. So.
Dude, I was really hoping you'd have somebody, And I'm stoked to hear that because both of those dudes are awesome. Seth's so rad,
Yeah.
and I feel like, yeah, he was in that Fast and Loose thing, so some people are starting to kind of know who he is. So to have something like this come out after that too, that's so cool. And what I was gonna say is that it's understandable that you might not know somebody, is that BMX in the filming side of things is so small already that I feel like everybody who's good is already, they make a couple things and everybody already knows who they are. So it's almost hard to be really good and killing it in the BMX video world and not have everybody at least know who you are in the filming game.
Well, that's the other person I've been talking to that I'm pretty psyched on is the Trent Ludsky.
Everybody is getting stoked on him, justifiably.
But it's like, well, I thought he was past the point of not being like, he is up and coming, like in a way, like, because when I talk to him, I don't realize how new he is to things, and I'm like, oh no, look at what you're doing, like, I don't know, he's just in the mix, right? You would think I don't like classify it as new, but then when I talked to him on the phone the other day, he like, I was like, oh, I get, you're like, he's got so much determination, and he's done so much in a little bit of time, but that made me think that he was like more well versed and like been around longer, and I don't know. So yeah, he's got a full journey of filming and riding to do. So, but he's already kind of semi-established, so I didn't think to, but I have been talking to him recently, and it's really cool to like, I don't know, it's really cool to like hear his thoughts and like what he's like going through and the things that he has to think about while he's like trying to make things that are kind of similar to what I'm trying to do with like a little bit of storytelling and seeing just like adventure of bike riding. So yeah, he's another person I'll shout out as far as a newer go. So
yeah, for sure. And it was funny that there was, I think, a comment during the talking and your last Unclick thing about that side of things and the story side of things. And I think that they left the comment on that video that Dennis said something like the in-between parts, and then it was like Trent's literally making the in-between videos, and it was like perfect. And I want to shout that out for sure in this conversation, because like everybody wants more of that stuff, and Dennis said the actual name. It was like, that's what's happening. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, he definitely named the series correctly for like telling what's going on. So
right.
Yeah, no, I felt like I don't know. I know he's got a new one coming out, and I'm excited to see it. So it sounds like it's pretty involved. Like he went all the way to England to film it, like full on documentary. So
that's bad.
Yeah, I know that's coming out soon. But yeah, just more of that stuff coming out in BMX, I think is pretty important.
And yeah,
but
people like Trent who are just fully passionate and obsessed and loving every second of all of it is so good to see. I love it.
Yeah, same. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Excited to see stuff like that come out. So.
Yeah. Well, Veesh, we just did 2 hours, and I don't want to take too much of your time up here. So I want everyone to go and subscribe to Yawn Media on YouTube. It's linked in the description. It's there. And get stoked. The video that we showed a preview of at the beginning will be live very soon. And
tomorrow,
he's saying
sometime
tomorrow is happening tomorrow.
Oh, I hope.
And if it doesn't, it's because I took way too much of his time for this podcast today.
No,
we can blame it on me.
Finished.
I'm trying to give you a way to blame it on me.
I need to finish it.
All
Move
right.
on to the next thing.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I love that you have taken the leap into just diving into what you're passionate about head first, and it's going to be cool to see how it evolves.
Well, we'll be watching it together because I don't know yet either. So
that's the best part, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on the show so I could talk about all my ideas and we could talk numbers and no.
And piss everybody off.
It's good. I hope you can have me on again and we can discuss more about what's going on in the BMX media landscape.
Yeah, let's do it. We can talk about religion and politics too, and we'll make everybody happy.
We'll leave that. We can leave that for another guest. So,
yeah. So about 6 months from now, because we did the last one in May, we'll do follow up and chat again, man. So thanks for being on, and take care, everyone.
How? Later.